Yes, maybe we can prop it open with something and you can slide.
Whoa!
Oh my god, what?
Is it getting bigger?
Stop it.
No, seriously, what's with that?
It's fine, Joel.
Does it hurt?
Joel, please, you're making me self-conscious.
I'm sorry, it's just a little bit startling.
Normal head, Joel. Can we just get back to the door things?
It's planetary.
Leave it.
It's gonna have its own area code soon.
We just had to not like each other for a bit.
You had to not like me, which came easy.
So
From the very beginning, The Last of Us wasn't just another television show. It was marketed as the next global phenomenon, a project that could rival Game of Thrones and bring video game storytelling into prestige television. HBO put everything on the line. They had the perfect actor to lead the series in Pedro Pascal, a man who had already proven himself in The Mandalorian and Game of Thrones. The story was iconic, the budget was massive, and the expectations were sky high. And at first it worked. Season 1 of The Last of Us became a cultural event with millions tuning in every week, critics showering praise on the production, and fans hailing it as the most faithful adaptation of a video game ever made. Pedro was hailed as the heart and soul of the series, but there was always one weak spot, one controversy brewing from the start: the casting of Bella Ramsey as Ellie.
I made her talk. I made her talk.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What?
No, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season.
I think I found a way.
Because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian.
Most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job. Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons. So in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same. For some reason, they made the decision for The Last of Us Season 2 to make Ellie dumb, to the point where she even says that she's stupid. Why? That just kind of betrays the character.
Change up your impression at all, or is it pretty much the same?
Well, the noise is the same. I've not got any more noises in my back pocket. The new infected are pretty terrifying. They're so smart, and they haven't really got a noise. That's the whole point of them. They're silent and terrifying.
Ooh, give us a little silent and terrifying.
From the moment her casting was announced, the fan base was divided. Some said she could handle the role, pointing to her work on Game of Thrones. Others said she simply didn't look or feel like Ellie, one of the most beloved characters in modern gaming. But HBO stuck with their decision, hoping chemistry with Pedro would carry the weight of the show. For a while, it did. Pedro's intensity as Joel made audiences overlook Bella's awkward delivery and unconvincing presence. But that illusion started crumbling as soon as season 1 ended. What followed was a slow, painful unraveling of the show's reputation, an unraveling that many insiders say can be traced directly back to Bella Ramsey herself. Instead of embracing the role that could have cemented her as a household name, Bella began using the spotlight for herself. Interviews quickly shifted from conversations about the story to bizarre off-topic remarks that left both fans and press confused. The infamous "I'm going to be a dad" comment became a social media punchline overnight. What should have been a heartfelt promotion for the series instead turned into a viral meme, making Bella look immature and disconnected from the show's emotional weight. Pedro, meanwhile, kept things professional. He spoke about the legacy of the game, the depth of the story, and his respect for the fans. The contrast between the two couldn't have been more obvious. As the season 2 press tour ramped up, the tension grew. Reports from behind the scenes claimed that Bella regularly interrupted Pedro during interviews, made sarcastic remarks while he was answering serious questions, and derailed entire panels with off-topic comments. While Pedro tried to remain calm and collected, those around him noticed his frustration growing. One insider even claimed Pedro simply shook his head after Bella made a mocking comment, while he was speaking about the emotional core of Joel's journey. It was becoming clear that Bella wasn't taking the responsibility of the role seriously. The warning signs weren't just behind the scenes, fans noticed too. Season 2 was immediately plagued with complaints. Critics and viewers pointed out that Bella's portrayal of Ellie was inconsistent and the age gap didn't make sense. The story was supposed to take place 5 years later, but Bella looked and acted the same. It broke immersion, and it didn't help that her performance often felt flippant and disconnected from the gravity of the show. While Pedro delivered scene after scene of heartbreaking intensity, Bella came across as a distraction and audiences started to turn on her. Social media made things worse. Instead of focusing on the show, Bella used her platform to promote herself and make unrelated statements, further irritating fans who wanted her to show commitment to the role. Pedro's accounts were filled with love and respect from viewers who praised his professionalism, while Bella's were filled with backlash, criticism, and calls for HBO to recast her. Fan petitions began circulating, demanding that someone else take on the role of Ellie. It was clear the public was losing patience. But the real breaking point came when reports leaked from the writer's room. According to insiders, Bella started demanding changes to her character's storyline, pushing to rewrite major parts of the show to suit her personal image. This wasn't just about creative input, this was about ego. Bella wanted the show to revolve around her, disregarding the careful storytelling that made the game a masterpiece. Pedro was furious. He confronted the showrunners, telling them the integrity of the series was slipping away. He was a seasoned actor, deeply committed to honoring the source material, and now he had to watch as his co-star pulled the show off course for selfish reasons. Behind the camera, the atmosphere turned toxic. Crew members described the set as a battlefield. Pedro showed up prepared, professional, and focused, while Bella often arrived late and distracted. The difference between the two couldn't be ignored. One crew member even described it bluntly. Pedro was a professional, Bella was a wild card. That divide only widened as season 2 aired and ratings began to fall. By the time season 2 ended, the writing was on the wall. Viewership had dropped by more than half compared to the season 1 finale. The once massive buzz surrounding the show had evaporated. Fans who had been passionate defenders of the series were now frustrated, confused, and ready to move on. Behind the scenes, HBO executives held emergency meetings. They considered recasting Ellie, reworking the narrative, or even shifting the focus away from Bella altogether. But the damage was already done. The fan base had turned, the cast chemistry was broken, and the trust in the story had evaporated. And then came the final blow. HBO announced season 3 was canceled. Officially, they blamed scheduling and creative direction, but insiders revealed the truth. The show had collapsed under the weight of Bella Ramsey's behavior and the fractured relationship with Pedro Pascal. For Pedro, this was devastating. He had poured everything into the role, believing in the story, the cast, and the fans. But in the end, he was forced to walk away. He reportedly told crew members, "I gave this everything, but I'm not going to carry this alone." It was the statement of a man who had been betrayed by the very person who was supposed to help carry the show forward. Fans responded with outrage, not at Pedro, but at Bella. TikTok compilations broke down her awkward press moments, YouTube channels racked up millions of views exposing her behavior, and social media feeds filled with criticism. The narrative was clear. Pedro had tried to save the show, but Bella refused to listen. Instead of growing into her role and respecting the story, she let her ego get in the way, dragging down one of the most promising shows of the decade. In the aftermath, Bella went silent. No more interviews, no responses, just silence. For someone who had once been eager to be the center of attention, the sudden disappearance spoke volumes. Meanwhile, Pedro walked away with his reputation intact. Fans praised his commitment, his professionalism, and his unmatched performance as Joel. He became the tragic hero of the show's downfall, while Bella became its villain. The cancellation of The Last of Us was more than just another show ending. It was the death of a dream. This series had the potential to become one of HBO's crown jewels, a multi-season masterpiece that could have defined an era. Instead, it became a cautionary tale of what happens when ego and immaturity collide with serious storytelling. Bella Ramsey had been given the role of a lifetime, a chance to lead a billion-dollar franchise and cement her place in pop culture history. But instead of rising to the occasion, she squandered it, alienating fans, frustrating her co-star, and ultimately destroying the very show that made her famous. The final insult came in the way HBO announced the cancellation. No fanfare, no emotional tribute, just a cold, generic statement thanking fans for their support. It was as if the network itself wanted to wash its hands of the mess. The media wasted no time shifting focus to Bella's future, or lack of one. Reporters bluntly pointed out that her name had vanished from award chatter. Her reputation had become radioactive, and studios were hesitant to work with her because of the backlash she now carried. She had gone from rising star to cautionary tale in record time. Even Bella's attempts to soften her image backfired. She began posting sentimental behind-the-scenes photos and nostalgic captions, trying to rewrite the history of her time on The Last of Us, but fans weren't buying it. Comments were filled with frustration and reminders that no amount of soft lighting could erase the damage she had done. For Bella, this wasn't just another job ending, it was a career-defining disaster. Pedro Pascal, on the other hand, walked away with his head high. He was the one who carried the emotional weight of the series, the one who respected the fans and the story. And when the show finally collapsed, he was the one fans defended. The tragedy of The Last of Us isn't that it ended. The tragedy is that it ended like this. With a show full of potential destroyed by the actions of one actress who couldn't respect the role she had been given. In the end, The Last of Us will be remembered for two things: Pedro Pascal's brilliant performance and Bella Ramsey's unforgettable downfall. A story that could have lasted for years became another cautionary tale of how one person's ego can burn an empire to the ground.